Good day, everyone. Thanks for your patience today. My name is Chris Gloris. I'm the Marketing Director here at CVision. I'll be your moderator today. Ari Gross, our CTO here at CVision, will present some slides going over our solution for EMC Captiva. We're also lucky to have Steve Shemaev on board with us today. Steve's going to present an overview of the solution, and so I don't know if he'll show a live demo or show some before and after shots. I think he'll probably do a live demo for us. Today's webinar is entitled Optimize EMC Captiva's InputAccel with Enhanced OCR and Compression. The webinar is going to go through a few slides. Ari will present some background on the solution we offer to optimize IA. We'll discuss the technology available to compress documents 10 to 100 times smaller, provide better OCR for your IA workflow, and just overall create more efficient files for InputAccel. If you have any questions in the course of the webinar, you can ask those questions to the QA component of GoToWebinar. We'll answer these questions as time permits. If you have any questions that come up after the webinar, you can always email info@cvigentech.com. We'll respond to these as soon as we get them. I believe, and Steve can speak to this as well when he presents, that we also offer an evaluation of our module for IA. So if anyone's interested in that, they can certainly email info@cvigentech.com and it'll get routed to Steve or someone else in the technical support department. Here at CVision, we typically conduct a few webinars a month, so be on the lookout for other automated data capture webinars or just general capture webinars. Thanks again for attending. At this time, I think I'm ready to pass it on to Ari to begin his presentation.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We hope to make the next 20 minutes or so you spend with us as meaningful as possible. We're talking about here how to optimize your documents. If you're moving towards a paperless office and you want to capture your paper and make it searchable, we've got the answer for you. You want to make it as compressed as possible. We can do that too, all within the framework of EMC Captiva's InputAccel. So let's get started. Here's our agenda. We're going to cover a bit of an overview for PDF Optimizer, what it can do for you and your documents. Also, we're going to talk about Captiva InputAccel optimization features that we offer through PDF Optimizer, including advanced file compression. Think 5 to 10 times smaller than you're getting now, probably. Much smaller if you're doing color, but think about a 5 to 10-fold reduction in file size. Very, very high-quality OCR, even if your documents are sideways OCR, poor fax quality. You want to be sure you get everything that's all searchable. Got the answer for you. Image enhancement, maybe auto-rotate to readable position. Making sure everything is PDF, PDFA, fully searchable PDFA. So again, our PDF Optimizer can solve all those problems and a few more, and we'll go through all that in the next few minutes. We want to talk about how smarter image documents can improve Captiva IA. So you have your documents, but how smart are they really? Are they searchable? Is there metadata insertion? Are they PDFA? These are issues. If you're taking the time to capture your paper and you care about these documents, and you should be asking the question, how smart are my captured documents? Are they smart or not? We'll give you a live demo of PDF Optimizer working within Captiva IA, and then I think first we'll take some questions. We're always open to questions here at CVision. Here's a GUI. Here's what you see in terms of the GUI panel when you're running our PDF Optimizer product. It is batch ready. We really run in some very, very large production environments that do millions and millions of pages a day. Some of them do at least 2 or 3 million pages every single day. So, you might see high volume. I think that our PDF Optimizer is really capable of any size, large-scale document capture environment that you happen to be in. We have image processing functions. You go through the tabs here. We have image processing. I think when we do the demo, Steve will go through that in more detail, right, Steve? Absolutely. Right. So we'll go through this. Just stay tuned here. It's going to be action-packed the next 15 minutes. We'll talk about output options. If you care about PDFA, you want to be sure it's archivable. We do that. You want to be sure your documents are as compressed as possible, even smaller than the original electronic file. We do that. You want to be sure you can find everything. There's the OCR for your document features. Maybe you want to add headers, footers. Maybe you want to open it a certain way within PDF. We do all that for you. So, and we'll have a full demo. We'll go through all the features of PDF Optimizer coming right up. So higher order compression, we do that. Highly accurate OCR, we do that for you. And image enhancement, PDF look, feel, and control. Also, a lot of you may have your documents not yet in PDF, so part of what we're doing, very low key here, is we're really trying to sell you the notion of PDF. PDF really is a very, very good way to handle your captured image paper. So if you're thinking about any other format, we really want to sort of push PDF, because PDF Optimizer obviously maps your files into PDF, but PDF gives you searchability. It gives you a hidden text layer. It gives you web optimization if it's a multi-page file and you want it to display instantly on the web. So you will get with our PDF Optimizer product PDF look and feel and control. And with TIFF and JPEG, you really don't have that. So among the features PDF Optimizer supports, let's say you have to upload and download files and you're worried about transmission times, or let's say it's litigation and it's a litigation being shared by several law firms, and you have a web-hosted space where all the files related to discovery motion or web-hosted. Think about reducing your transmission times to a fifth, 20% of the current upload-download time. So that's what we're talking about. You might be paying money to web host files. You can reduce those costs by, again, decreasing file size dramatically. Color, we've seen up to 100-to-1 reduction in color sizes. So you can talk about really, really reducing transmission time and storage requirements. Now, of course, locating your files is a big deal, too. A lot of times, companies that we work with might be scanning their files because they don't want to call the paper from the file room anymore. But maybe it's because they also want to find certain files, do a search, a text-based search, and find everything that they're looking for. Not just the coded fields. You might code 10, 12, 15 fields in a document, but maybe you want to do a full-text search across a whole host of documents. Why? Well, maybe for data mining purposes, to be sure in a discovery motion you didn't miss anything. So with our system, of course, everything becomes searchable. All your captured paper, fully searchable. We have a very, very highly accurate OCR process. In fact, our OCR is really on the cutting edge. We're funded by the National Science Foundation for doing super accurate OCR applied to mobile devices. So we really know a lot about OCR, which is making your document searchable, and that's part of what PDF Optimizer will do for you. The documents we create are very efficient because it's 100% PDF, which means as long as you've got a PDF reader installed, it's going to open up. And you can talk about TIFFs. There's all these variations of TIFF. I mean, we've got clients calling in here with some Wang, old-fashioned TIFFs. TIFFs are every different standard. So just because TIFF is really a wrapper. And if you send another company your TIFF files, there's no guarantee that they're going to open. Okay, so part of what we want to do here is be sure that once you take the time to capture your documents, they're going to work for you. And if you make your documents PDF, they'll open on any platform. If they're searchable, you'll find what you need. So we're really talking about smarter document capture. We also integrate seamlessly with EMC Captiva. I mean, part of the reason I think people that came to this webinar are probably EMC Captiva IA users. Can I just see by show of hands, anybody out there using Captiva IA right now? Yeah, I see it. Okay, it looks like most of you. There's a guy in the back, not sure about him, but everybody else seems to be either interested or currently using Captiva IA. And that our product, PDF Optimizer, is built for IA and works seamlessly within the Captiva IA software. Let's talk a little bit about captured paper and the beauty of PDF Optimizer. We've been in this business for about 10 years, and basically, certainly when we started, the notion of captured paper was way different than electronic. And you can see that here by example. If you look at this picture, this is a file that initially started out as less than a megabyte. Less than a megabyte is easy to email to somebody, easy to get from somebody. But what happens to it when you convert it to captured paper? Well, you take this Word document, maybe it's printed out by your secretary or by you, then you sign it. You just signed your loan application, whatever. Now you fax it to somebody else. What happens on the receiving end? Or now you're the recipient of a fax or a scanned document. Typically, it gets to be 10 to 20 times larger than the original Word, Excel, electronic file. We've seen that very standard in the industry is between 10 to 20 times larger than the electronic file is when you take a paper document and you capture it and compare it to the native electronic files. And that's what we did here. We took a Word file. In this case, it was the Ken Starr report, and it was less than a megabyte. When you printed it and recaptured it using black and white TIFF G4, or, by the way, standard PDF, which is also TIFF G4, all of a sudden was 13 megabytes. That's about 14 times larger, 15 times larger than the original. And when we mapped it to standard PDF using, let's say, Adobe, still 13 megabytes. When we put it through PDF Optimizer for IA, all of a sudden it's down to 870 kbytes. That is smaller. We're talking about compressed PDF that CVision can deliver within PDF Optimizer, smaller than the original electronic Word file. Much, much smaller. Well, much smaller than the ScanTIFF, right? 14, 15 times smaller than the Captiva file, and even smaller than the native electronic file. And that's the difference. When you make your document smart, you really worry about super compression, searchability, and the output format, let's say PDF. You end up with something that's much more functional than a large bloated TIFF file, or even a large bloated non-searchable PDF file. So there's been a lot of progress in compression technology in the last 10 years. CVision has been there from the beginning and at the forefront of delivering very smart compressed searchable documents in PDF format. Our scan files can be compressed, as you see in this example, as small as the original generated files. It makes them a lot more efficient to store, access, and transmit. Let's spend a few minutes here talking about compression. So, for example, some of you are capturing to black and white, some to color, right? Anybody capturing to color? I see a few hands out there. Right, there are reasons to capture to color, because, of course, you retain the look and feel of the document. You lose quite a bit when you threshold. Keep it color, not going to change anything. So there's some certainly nice. We're seeing a lot more color capture going on in the document capture space because people are more interested in retaining the look and feel of the original document. The problem is often that gives you bloated file size. You see here up on the top, this image was 4 megabytes as a JPEG file. And by the way, the JPEG file, not very searchable, not that usable. When you put it through PDF Optimizer for IA, all of a sudden you get the super compressed PDF, 112 kbytes. So that's about a 40th of the original color size. And in addition, now you've got a PDF that is fully text searchable, PDFA, so it's long time archivable, and really, really useful in a sense of fast transmission, fast upload, download times. So a much more usable file than the native JPEG. 41 compression. And you see here that also thresholding is a tricky business. Here's a document. This happens to be a university transcript. And if you put it through an arbitrary thresholding process, like, well, the kind you might get off your MFP device or your high-speed scanner, a lot of times it'll lift up anything remotely text and also not separate out background from foreground text elements. And you get something that's really quite unreadable and, almost useless, not quite, but not very, very useful. CVision has perfected in the last 5 to 6 years or so that the lift and cut process where we really try to lift the text, which is the foreground text, and leave the background. Leave the background, even if you're talking about something that has a texture, a layer, a pattern to it. Drop that in the color-coded layer so that there's a clean lift of the text that you want OCR'd, which wouldn't be the background in this case. We also talk a little bit about image enhancement that we do within our PDF Optimizer for IA. One thing is sometimes we get clients with documents that are in the wrong order. So and there's about 20 different features that we offer, quite a lot in the way of image enhancement. And Steve may talk to some of that later during the demo. But just go through one feature here, which is auto-rotate to readable. Again, you start it with documents in different orientation. Often, when you put it together and you disseminate it, you want it to be rotated to readable and searchable. So among the many features we support, which includes deskew, auto-rotate to readable, binarization, despeckle, lots of other features, but we're just showing you auto-rotate here. What are the benefits of smarter document capture? Well, we'll talk about benefits in 3 different ways. Obviously, benefits to the end user, benefits to the IT department, benefits to company management. We'll just go through all of those briefly. So let's say you're an end user. How would this affect you? Well, you're going to end up with files that are much easier to use. Again, nobody really wants to send to somebody else a 20 megabyte TIFF file, right? Talk about something that's tenth the size, it's only 2 megabytes. So much easier to work with in terms of file size, transmission, access. You can search everything, right? Even if the document came in upside down, it's fully text searchable, so you can find the documents you need. Because it's web optimized, you can put a 200-page document on a web, and if somebody, one of your, you want to view it, you're going to view that first page as soon as it transfers. So that's called web optimized. All the PDFs we generate are web optimized for fast display over the internet or where it's web hosted. And it really gives you an optimal user experience. A lot of times you're also not sure about if it's a TIFF or JPEG or some other format, which viewer is going to open it and what the viewer experience is going to look like or feel like. With PDF, pretty much you're guaranteed a very high quality, consistent user experience because it's going to open up in Reader. Let's talk about how this also smarter documents, smarter PDF documents, benefits the IT department. Well, first of all, fewer formats to manage. I mean, you really want to try to find a WordPerfect viewer because you have a document from 4 years ago from another law firm on WordPerfect. Wouldn't you rather convert that, everything to PDF or PDFA, and know that the one format really satisfies all your document retention requirements? In addition, of course, there's reduced storage and bandwidth. If you talk about compression, it's 5 to 10 times smaller. Well, everything is going to be reduced. That terabyte is going to last 5 times longer, that terabyte of storage. Transparent to the user in terms of they're not really going to see that you've switched to a more elegant format. If you go from, let's say, TIFF to PDF or PDF to compressed PDF, the user's not going to really feel that, except they'll get a better user experience. Documents are preserved. Of course, part of the beauty of PDF is that it changes much more rapidly than TIFF and JPEG and some of the other standards. So PDF is constantly being improved, shall we say. So a recent innovation is PDFA, which we fully support, which means you can make all your PDFs a certain flavor of PDF, which opens up in any reader. But the A in PDFA means it's made for long-term archivable retention purposes, and that means it's basically a guarantee from PDF, if you will. So this document will always open correctly in any Adobe Reader, even 50 years from now. So it's a very good way to preserve your documents in the long term. If you think about what is the electronic analog of microfiche, you can really think about PDFA being that equivalent, electronic paper, electronic microfiche is really PDFA. Of course, our system, along with Captiva IA, is built for high volume and high volume users. So if you've got to capture a lot of documents every day, well, we're prepared for that. PDF Optimer is going to work fine in that environment. We integrate smoothly and seamlessly into IA, and we'll show you we obviously have many satisfied IA clients that use us seamlessly as part of their IA InputAccel workflow. Benefits to management, well, it saves you money. One thing, in terms of if you're paying for web hosting, picture 20% of the web hosting requirements that you have. Now, most of your web hosting, you're capturing documents, is probably a function of the size of those captured documents. So a 5-to-1 reduction means obviously savings in money, not to mention also savings in time, because employees are waiting on documents, either uploading or downloading. That's going to run a lot faster. We also facilitate automation. I mean, part of what we're not going to talk about today is the fact that once you capture paper, you can automate a lot of business workflows or business processes. Automated AP, automated forms, automated mailroom. Once you digitize and your documents are searchable, there are a lot of processes that can then take place in way of business process automation. For document retention purposes, you don't want to say later, in case you have a litigation or a subpoena or discovery motion, you can't find certain documents, or even worse, they don't open, they got corrupt. So when you write the PDF, particular PDFA, there's really a guarantee, like you have with microfiche, that you can always find and open those documents later on. So it is helpful in terms of corporate liability to say, hey, we've retained our documents in best practice manner, in a way that ARMA would recommend. They're kept as PDFA. We also say it makes your employees more efficient, because the more cumbersome your documents are and your file management system is, the less your employees get done in a given day. So if your documents are efficient, your employees who work with those documents are also going to be more efficient. Well, rev your engines, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're now ready for the demo part. Right? Steve, you're good to go?
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much, Ari. That was very informative. You've given us a lot of stuff to digest. Let's see what all of this looks like in reality, what the module looks like, and how it works, and all the features that it offers. Here we have a remote server, which we're going to be logging onto. And I already have the Scan Plus module open, and we're going to go ahead and start off right away by scanning a few files in and creating a batch. So we prepared a few files that we're going to be looking at. A few of them are PDFs, TIFFs, and JPEGs. We're going to take a look at them momentarily. Right now, there are 23 pages of the file for this batch. We're going to go and close this batch, and we're going to go ahead and start our prod and let those files process. At the same time, we're going to look at the files that we just imported into our Scan Plus module, just so we can see what we're working with here. Okay, so that's on its way to be processed. So for starters, we have a TIFF file, which is 168 kilobytes. You can see what the file looks like here. We have just some plain text. It's a black and white document. We have a PDF, which we imported. It's sideways. We'll demonstrate to you on this file how we pick up OCR even on documents that look as such, as what you're seeing on the screen. We have a color invoice, which you see here on the right, coming from a TIFF. Let's just verify if that actually is a TIFF. And that's actually it's a JPEG. I apologize. We went through the TIFFs earlier. Here's another invoice with some more color in it. Also, we will be OCRing and compressing it. It's about 607 kilobytes. We're going to just jump through all the other files real quick. Another invoice and a black and white invoice and a multi-page black and white document which has some text on it, and it's not very clean, not very well behaved. We'll close that out, and we'll just do a tally real quick of how many, what the size of the total of these files is. And looks like we have right over 3 megabytes in size. This is what we have on all the 23 pages that we just scanned in. Now, let's go ahead and go through the settings that we set up for this particular run. So in this run, if you see that we have image processing. Under image processing, we have such options as deskew, auto-rotate, color inversion if you choose to, some smoothing on files, whether black and white color or grayscale. We have cleaning, despeckling. We have ability to go ahead and remove blank pages, resample the file, or upsample the file as far as the DPI. I already covered this part of it where we go ahead and do PDFA 1A, PDFA 1B, where we do archiving. You could go ahead and select the page size for your output files. We could also go ahead and we give you lots of different compression techniques for bitonal black and white files, whereas we support JBIG2 and CTI-TT4, whether it's perceptually lossless or lossless files for your output. We also give you the ability to go ahead and use half-toning compression as well. For your color and grayscale options, we have ability to go ahead and compress files using our JPEG technology, JPEG 2000, and auto-segmentation. With auto-segmentation and all the three techniques of compression we offer, we give you three ways to go ahead and process those files, whether it's with low quality, regular quality, and high. And to be honest with you, all three of those will give you a pretty good looking file. Let's move on to the OCR. We really jammed a lot of stuff under this option because OCR is very important. And we give you 4 different ways to go ahead and process the OCR. Whether we give you the real-time fast, accurate, super accurate. Real-time, of course, will be the fastest. And super accurate will be slower, but it will be the most accurate OCR you've seen in your life. We give you the ability to check alternate document orientation, give you a confidence level, multi-directional OCR, file weight compliancy. We support over 60 languages of OCR that you can go ahead and select as long as you install the OCR language pack. We give you the ability to dump your OCR that you extracted from the document into various file formats, whether it's text, HTML, as you can see from this list right here. And also a confidence report. You could go ahead and put us to the test and create a confidence report for yourself and see how confident we are about our OCR. We'll give it to you in a text file, XML, CSV, and give it to you on a different page level, file, word, or character, and give you measurements and tell you exactly how accurate we are. We give you the ability to go ahead and insert your document metadata, where you can go ahead and specify the author, title, subject, or keywords. We give you the ability to go ahead and enter your header or footer on your files. Those headers or footers consist of date stamp, page numbering, base stamping, or custom text. You can change your color, font, align it to the left, right, or center. Under the advanced options, we give you the ability to go ahead and turn on logging, audit logging. You can even access the log folder by simply clicking on that little icon there next to the logging option. You could go ahead and switch to user-defined settings or go back to default settings. You could have even select black and white presets or color presets are what we recommend for your file processing. In our case, I just put some settings together and started processing with them, and that's what we're going to be looking at the results momentarily. We also give you the command line option here at the bottom. If you prefer not to use the GUI and you are fluent in our command line argument parsing, you can go ahead and enter a particular flag, and it will manipulate and edit your settings, and you could process that as well. So let's go ahead and look at our output file. This is my batch. We're going to go ahead and locate that batch, expand it, look at our steps where we already did the compression at the export step. We're going to go ahead and run that module. Once we run the module, we will get our file in our output folder. So let me go ahead and pop that open. So right off the bat, we're going to go into the output folder. The file was just created. As you can see, the original file, all those files, the 23 pages that we looked at before, were about over 3 megabytes. Now we are slightly above half a meg, so 636 kilobytes. That's what we have. That's what we have on this file. Now let's go ahead and pop this thing open and see what it looks like. As you notice, the first thing across the top, we have a blue ribbon going across the top, letting us know it's a PDF file. Therefore, it did the trick. It's an archivable file, and all the pages are here. We have 23 pages. Everything is OCR. As you see, everything is just highlighted in blue because I just highlighted all the text. Let's move on to the color files closer to the bottom. As you see, the color files look completely amazing. Everything is OCR. We could even do a couple of searches. Let's look for the word date and see if that comes up. As you can see, it should pick it up on every single page, and even the bounding boxes come up perfectly, even on the smallest text where you can see the word date. Okay, and just to help you along, we do have a very comprehensive documentation on this, which you can go ahead and press help, and we give you a nice little PDF giving you all the instructions of how to set up the module, how to go ahead and install the module, and of course usage in every single way possible. Very easy to go through and very friendly. That concludes our demonstration of the IA image compressor for 6.5. I should say optimizer.
Thank you very much, Steve. So we told everyone to be in and out in about half an hour, so we'll stick around if anyone has any questions at this time. Here's a list of clients currently using this module for IA, which is called PDF Optimizer for IA. Here's our contact information. So I want to thank Steve for doing the demo and Ari for presenting the slides and everyone for attending. And if anyone has any questions, they can always reach out to us with the contact information listed on their screen. Thanks again, everyone.